I'm Jen, the Gen X nerd. On October 20th, 2025, Adam Driver showed via an interview with the Associated Press that he'd been actively involved at Kathleen Kennedy's invitation for the last several years in the development of a Ben Solo movie. He had recruited past collaborator Steven Soderbergh, with whom he worked on Logan Lucky, who of course made Ocean's 11 and Aaron Brockovich, and his team to develop the story, and Lucasfilm even paid for a full script and began pre-production. And then Disney CEO Bob Iger and co-chair Alan Bergman canceled it. There's a script, and Adam wants to play Ben again. And Soderbergh has a reputation for meeting budget and schedule expectations. So, with Disney in need of cash as they choose a new CEO, we see so much opportunity to get this film greenlit again. Eager fans are organizing themselves and have launched a website and social media accounts, which are supported by communities of volunteers who are simply, yet politely, not going to accept the situation as it stands. Some social media accounts were launched right away. Others took a couple of weeks to get rolling. As each social media platform rolled out, we gathered followers and subscribers as if by gravity or the force. A key principle was agreed on by the community of people that were developing content and messages to share on these platforms. Keep it positive. We do not say negative things about Disney or any of the individuals that seem to have been responsible for stopping the hunt for Ben Solo. We respectfully and courteously ask that they reconsider and try to provide reasons why they should greenlight the film, both for Star Wars canon and also for money-making reasons. And today, we happen to get confirmation that the positivity has paid off. In an interview with IGN published on December 9th, Daisy Ridley shared that she has heard about the fan movement to get the film made, and what she especially noticed is that it's so positive. And I would like to hypothesize that she seems to be seeing some pretty deep summaries of what Ben Solo fans are posting, because she really accurately describes what I know several communities of us are deliberately pushing out there. And today we happen to get confirmation that the positivity has paid off. In an interview with IGN on December 9th, Daisy Ridley shared that she has heard about the fan movement to get the film made, and she has especially noticed that it's so positive. And I would like to hypothesize that she's seeing some pretty deep summaries of what Ben Solo fans are posting, because she really describes accurately what I know several communities of us are deliberately pushing out there. To talk about it with me today is Hannah. Hannah, what did Daisy say?
I do love when there is a collective of positivity, she said, about the consensus of everyone who seems to want the hunt for Ben Solo to happen. The way the internet seems to have rallied to try and get it to happen, I think, one, it's fantastic for us all. It's good for us to all be united about something in a really positive way. Obviously, everyone knows he was a really popular character, but it was also lovely to think, wow, people really, really care and want this. I like it. I like when people join forces, excuse the pun, from all around the world, all different sorts of people. I just love that the Star Wars fandom is such a huge and gorgeous array of different points of view and different people. And the fact that everyone is really behind this thing, I think, is just sort of lovely. In a time that is so effing nuts for probably every single person on this earth, I think it's wonderful. So I was surprised, and honestly, I felt joyful about how it went down.
So thank you, Daisy, for letting us know that we're accomplishing our mission. Hannah, let's talk a little bit about what it feels like to know that Daisy has a really clear awareness of exactly the tone the fans have set for this campaign.
Yeah, because I think it's something where, to me at least, it's one thing for Ryan Johnson to comment about the movement and be like, oh yeah, I'd love to see Adam in anything, because he's not likely to be involved with it. But Daisy, on the other hand, there's a possibility that she can make at least even like a small appearance in the film. Um, and so it's sort of like, and also she has her new Jedi Order film that's based on this article as well. It is still in the works. It's still happening. And so to have her, even though she could be very sort of politely not want to comment about it for whatever reason, NDAs, etc. The fact that she so openly was like, you know, it's so great to see this in the fandom, and it, like the fact that it brings her joy, um, I think is also really sweet. I love Daisy. She's such like a sweet person, and I love her being excited about Star Wars again, because that's how I feel too. Like the ability to like get excited and have all this positivity, like bringing people together. And I think yeah, she's definitely aware of the fan campaign and how global it is, which is crazy and so cool. What were your thoughts when you read that or the article?
Well, I was, first of all, just thrilled that the tone of the campaign had come through just so loud and
Hmm.
clear. It almost feels like Daisy's lurking in the background on one or more of our platforms somewhere under some alias that we're never going to recognize, because it's like she's been reading everything, right? Where we're kind and courteous and hey
Hmm.
Bob, we're sending Bob Christmas cards, to ask him to, hey, before you
Yeah.
go, could you change your mind? And I just that was just thrilling, because I know you and
Hmm.
others have just been putting in so much unpaid labor since October 20th to make this happen. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Let's not pretend we're having a good time, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. And so that was just one thing, that the labor is paying off. And then the second thing was, like you, that it brought her joy, because for folks who don't know, Daisy and Adam, but Daisy's actually on social media, got a rough ride at in 2019 over the ending of the Rise of Skywalker film. And I've seen interviews where Daisy was really emotional about um, how upset she was that fans were upset about
Hmm.
the way it ended, and people said some not very nice things. So I'm glad that now we're able to redeem ourselves a little bit and um, give her joy.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too, thinking about like, cause obviously like she's having her new Jedi Order film, and that's great, but I think that there's still a level of like that film still exists within the context of The Rise of Skywalker and how that film ended. And by all accounts, and I think lately since um like as the time has gone on, some stuff has started to resurface from back around 2019, 2020. Um sort of, and I mean, granted, like take it with a grain of salt, but they're sources and things that people had talked about at the time, but looking back on it now with more context is like, oh wow, where essentially nobody was happy with the way that the production of The Rise of Skywalker was handled, particularly in terms of studio meddling, which is a theme apparently.
We're
And
seeing it
that,
again.
yes, and that n neither Daisy or Adam were very happy with the way that it ended and how certain things that were initially being pushed for their characters, and apparently, and according to at least one person, they had to fight to get the kiss scene included, and Daisy refused to have Rey kill Kylo. Um, and just like little things where people are like looking back on everything that happened and the fact that J.J. Abrams didn't get the final cut on his film. And it just seems that like overall there's this feeling of like, oh, this didn't go the way that we hoped it would. And I think what's so powerful about The Hunt for Ben Solo is that it represents something I think more than just this one singular character getting a second chance. I think it's an opportunity for everyone to kind of have some sort of cathartic moment, like all of the actors involved, all of the creatives involved. I mean, like JJ opened or did for the premiere of Ryan's new film, he did a Q&A interview with him, which was really cool, and which is hilarious because a lot of people used to think that the two of them hated each other or hated their movies. Um, but if there was any truth to that at all, clearly that's not the case anymore. And I think that there's a lot more camaraderie behind the scenes than we were maybe privy to. Because I mean, we were all, and Daisy was as well, just as much surprised that Adam would come out and talk about this as compared to anyone else. So I think that like there's this very strong need for this movie from everybody. everybody wants this.
My favorite post, at least right now, still, it's the one where I use the Devil Wears Prada audio where Meryl Streep is like,
"Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants
um, well, I think another reason why I think that it's so important that she sees this positivity and that she's aware that there's so much excitement is because I think that going into her movie, whenever that happens, before or after The Hunt for Ben Solo, because that is going to happen, I think it's important for her to know that there is this positivity and there is people who want more, that regardless of everything else, like we are here, we do want more, and we're going to be vocal about it. Uh, I think that's something reassuring that she deserves to see, is how much support they all have. I think it's going to make her experience coming back a lot more positive because she'll be seeing that from us, how positive we are, how excited we are, and I think that's going to carry over to her experience coming back, which I think is really really special because, like, I not that long ago, I rewatched the behind the scenes making of for The Force Awakens, and seeing them all like a decade ago is crazy. They were so little. Um, her and John were just like babies. It was crazy.
It is pretty funny to look at.
But like there was so much excitement behind that film, and even going into The Last Jedi, because that was like riding the high of The Force Awakens and how big of a success that was. There was uh so much excitement and passion there. I think The Force Awakens was like this excitement that they couldn't suppress, and then The Last Jedi felt like this like intense like passion and dedication that everyone had. And so I think, I don't know, there's something magical about that. I think that comes through in a performance. So I'm happy for her to be able to have that experience as an actress. So
I'm with you on that. I think it would have been very easy for her to go in with some trepidation if her film was the first sequel universe movie film, to be made. Fans had not yet expressed, a mood, about how we feel. And
yeah.
I agree with you. I think she's gonna be able to give us a better performance, knowing that no, there is an appetite. We'll buy tickets. We want the merch. We want to see you. We have your back.
Exactly.
In case you haven't been following as closely as Daisy, here's a snapshot of the Save Ben Solo campaign's social media traction from October 20th, when Adam revealed what had happened, to November 30th, which just seemed like a convenient place to take some data. First of all, there are over 200 Discord members on our server. If you're interested in talking about the sequel films, Star Wars in general, boosting social media signals, even contributing your opinion or skills to the campaign, please consider joining the server. There's no pressure ever to do anything, but new ideas and new folks are very welcome. Now, Hannah, our Instagram is a hit. Please tell us a little bit more about what's been going on over on IG.
Well, we have 79,000 views between October 20th and November 30th, and about 37%, more than one third of those views are not from followers. They're from non-followers, people who just end up coming across our content on their own. And that tells us that people are searching for Ben Solo, and the stuff that their algorithm, is aligned to ends up, like, we end up finding our way in there as well. So which is really cool to think about. And what's also something that I hadn't even expected, because Jen, when you asked us to, pull up these analytics, and I hadn't actually taken a look at these in a while. So when I saw the numbers for sort of like what that gender demographic was going to look like, I was really pleasantly surprised, because it's almost a 50-50 split. About 53.1% women and 46.9% men are the primary or the demographic of the viewership of our account. And I think that's just really awesome because I think it's a testament to the fact that this campaign, this character wanting this movie is something that transcends every kind of corner of the Star Wars fandom. And so it, there's going to be something for everyone here, and everybody has a place in this campaign and supporting this film. I just think that that's really awesome. I was not expecting those numbers at all. Yeah. Oh, and actually, something that I think is also really important to note is that, um, from the posts and stuff that we make, there's going to be profile visits from there when you like happen to come across it on your feed. You click the profile, and that's always great. But what I think is really important for the campaign, particularly, is the external link tabs that we're getting. So we have links in the bio for the website, for the Discord, etc. And within the time frame of October 7th to November 5th, um, we had 44 external link taps, which means that 44 people went from our profile bio to one of those links that we have in there, which would either be the link tree, the Discord, or the website. So I think that's really cool because we're seeing that's about like over 300% increase of that from like the beginning when we started the account, which would have been around October 20th. So actually, this is like a very particular span of time because we hadn't started an account until I think it was October 22nd. So between then and November 5th, really is when we're seeing this massive uptick of like all of these people who are like looking for content about this fan movement, and they're feeling drawn to action and actually engaging with the social media to click links and discover more about this campaign and what it has to offer, which is really, really cool.
Something that stands out to me when I look at those stats is that this seems to be Instagram, I should say. It seems to be where American Star Wars fans are finding the campaign, especially from big cities, which is kind of where the action's been going down. Folks who may not know, we held and featured on Instagram a rally in New York City where we were trying to get Disney's attention. So we were hanging around in front of their building down in New York, asking them to please, reconsider their decision and greenlight the movie again. And then there have been individuals visiting Disneyland, hanging around outside the Burbank Disney offices, and we're popularizing those through Instagram. So we seem to be getting good traction from like New York and LA as well. That's my guess as to why we're getting good traction there, that local people are kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely the primary demographic, like country-wise. But what was also really interesting is seeing that there's been a recent spike of viewers or audiences from Germany. And I think that mainly came from our post of Stuttgart Comic-Con, where members of the campaign went to Comic-Con and they were all in cosplay. They had a banner. They were giving out these chocolates and these little custom sort of packages with the Hunt for Ben Solo on there and the gorgeous art for our campaign by Altocello. And it was so cool, and they met so many different fans there, and they left cards and posters, the missing posters. It was really, really cool. It was such a fun like experience, seeing how much fun they had, but then also the positive response that they got from other fans at the con. And I think like that our big post about that, it really took off, like it was surprisingly so. In like a couple days, it amassed over 3,000 views, which in comparison, the only other post at that time that had a similar amount of views, I think either 100 more than what the Stuttgart post had, but that took like a few weeks for that to amass that many views. And that was actually also the New York rally. So I think that in the future, Comic-Cons are going to be a really big way of gaining new audiences on social media and connecting with fans who because of where they're located, their algorithm might not show them our content normally because, it's mostly focused on North America for the most part. That's where I'm from. A lot of our initiatives up till now have taken place in North America, so that just sort of makes sense. But these sort of more specific regional opportunities through Comic Cons and other kinds of conventions allows, I think, a new opportunity to expand further than that, which is what I really love about having the opportunity to run the Instagram and like see these like moments of growth and expansion and meeting all these new different fans. And one thing that I think is really cool is that at Stuttgart they met people who hadn't known about the Hunt for Ben Solo. And they are so excited about it, but they hadn't actually heard about it, which is crazy to think about because it feels like it's been everywhere, and it has in a lot of ways. But I think what's so great about this movement is it's this force of positivity that's out there being loud and positive, whereas a lot of times we see only the loud and the negative on social media. But we're loud and we're positive, and we're part of the community, and we're reaching out and we're doing things to build community. And I think that's really, I think people are really receptive to that. I think it's refreshing.
I agree, and I don't know if you happen to know, but I had the pleasure of connecting with somebody new who I would never have met otherwise through Instagram. Max is a Kylo Ren cosplayer, and yes. I don't know if he had been part of our group originally or just found them walking around in Stuttgart. Do you know?
I do. So Max, they met him at Stuttgart, and he had known, and so he was really excited, and he asked Leanie to put the little card in his pocket because he had his hands full with his helmet. He was holding Vader's helmet, and he had the lightsaber. And he's really, really nice. And hopefully we'll be able to do some more collabs with him and other creators that we've interacted and met on Instagram in future, because I think taking the opportunity to like celebrate all of the different people part of this campaign is a really great. I think Instagram is a really great way of doing that, because it's the kind of platform that I think you can easily collaborate with other fans. You can spotlight their posts and repost their stuff, and I think it's just a really great spot for creating community, like I said. But yeah, it's so cool, like meeting all of these different people that you would have met or come across just normally, other than through this unique experience, which is just really cool.
It was, and I reached out to him to say, Max, thank you. And again, not knowing if he had ended up, an intended part of our group, or if he had just ended up, hanging around with us because he found us there. But I ended up reaching out to him, and we follow each other now on Instagram. And I mean, I feel like I'm following a celebrity now because he is a really good cosplayer. Folks who are curious to see what a really good Kylo Ren cosplayer, in my opinion, looks like, you can find, we reposted a few of his pictures to the Instagram, so you can find it in our repost. In addition to Instagram, we are also using Twitter or X and Blue Sky. We've had really strong reach on Twitter or X. There were 43,000 engagements, which means eyes on something that we've posted. And that means there's been some real attention paid to our messages. In addition, there were 4.3 thousand reposts. And I have spent a little bit of time with social media experts, and a 10% repost rate is a really good repost rate. So whatever we're putting up there, people like it. And so we're doing something right. In addition, there were 23,000 likes. We always love likes. Please do feel free to give our stuff likes, which to me says the folks who follow us and the people who follow them, because remember, of course, it gets shown to the next people on the daisy chain, are also appreciating the things that we're sharing. Something that I find interesting is that there were 3.4 thousand profile visits. So again, like on Instagram, there were a whole lot of people who saw our posts and wanted to know who we are. I hope you're following us. I hope you're joining us on Discord. Please become one of us. You are more than welcome. We are also on Blue Sky. However, it's currently difficult to get Blue Sky data, the trouble with being a startup platform. So if that changes, we will share some data if we can get some good data. We currently have 228 followers. So if you happen to be on Blue Sky, please do feel free to join us there as well. TikTok is an interesting platform when I look at the data. That account was a brand new launch sometime after October 20th, like the Instagram was. So in only about a month, we got 8.8 thousand post views and 738 likes, which to me sounds like a tremendous number. The average viewer age is the typical under 40 crowd, which is associated with short form video media. And this is important because Disney, remember, young people under age 25 tend to have a fair amount of disposable income to spend on movie tickets and merch. It's the right demographic for you. And I find it surprising, actually, how many TikTok users are engaging with our content coming from Europe. The UK, the United Kingdom, is actually the top source of our TikTok views, which is really interesting to me, and also reinforces the value of using multiple social media platforms. So if you're wondering, why are you in all these places? Because you know what? We're catching different people in different locations.
Yeah, and I think something like particular about that is there is crossover between certain platforms, but not always. There's always going to be certain people who prefer one platform over another, and maybe if they do have an account there, they're not necessarily super active on it. So by having all of these different social media platforms, we're able to sort of branch out and find more people who otherwise might not see the posts that we're making on Twitter or on Instagram. They'll see it on TikTok. And it just allows more fans to find this community again, and find ways to take part in it, which is really cool, and which has really helped with the amount of growth that we've seen in such a short amount of time. Yeah, it's been really cool.
I agree. And I mean, it is just cool. I'm 45 years old. I think I've said that in another video, and I'm not ashamed of it. To me, it's just the funniest thing to be sitting here with Hannah. I'm old enough to be your mother, Hannah. but we have these fun conversations because we're interested in the same things. And I would never have had the opportunity to yak with Hannah if not for social media. So again, as someone who did not grow up with a phone in her hand or anything in her hand, this is like, wow, this is science fiction for me. Our Tumblr account was launched actually long before our moderator found the group on the Discord server. He had realized he needed a community on Tumblr because there wasn't one there. Feel free to check out my interview with Yeet in another spot on my channel. Now, as you can see from the data, the greatest buzz was, of course, in the first few weeks immediately after Adam Driver's revelation about the canceled film. There is still consistent traffic, though, and if you're a Tumblr user, you are definitely invited to join them over there.
If you look at the graph there's this one very specific spike on November 11th, which corresponds with the Solo Ray protest at Burbank Studios, where Rachel of Jakku did her Ray cosplay, and she went to the headquarters with the "Where is Ben" Solo sign. So that's what that like very particular huge uptick was. I think probably that. But yeah, it's been really consistent activity throughout. So obviously all of our socials, including Tumblr, will have the initiatives when they happen, and fun events like the Solo Ray cosplay. Yeah,
which was awesome.
It was so good.
Speaking of being an older person, I am still a regular Facebook user, and the Facebook group that we have linked in the socials on the SaveBenSolo.com website existed long before the campaign found it, and the creator has kindly agreed to kind of let us promote it as part of the campaign. So I'm not connected enough to get any statistics for you, but I do notice that there are some really solid likes and shares on most of the posts that end up on his page. I've included a couple of samples on the screen so you can see the kind of fun stuff that gets posted. Very creative people sharing their work on there, actually. So if you are a Facebook user, I definitely encourage you to follow. I am particularly proud of what we accomplished on Reddit. So in case you don't know how Reddit works, it requires that you generate some interest in a topic in order to get a subreddit created. And we did it in only a couple of weeks, actually. We had tried, to see if there were communities of people in existing subreddits, and didn't seem to catch on. So instead, we generated the buzz to get our own. And you can see that in just a couple of weeks, we went from 0 members to 231 and earned 7.8 thousand visits. And I'm not an expert, but we get about 100 daily users on our subreddit, which to me seems pretty hot. So I'm excited to see what happens on Reddit from here. Hannah, what's been your experience with Reddit so far?
Yeah, it's just been nice to be able to have sort of like a Reddit community to just sort of engage positively and share links that have to do with the campaign and initiatives, and kind of have a safe space in a way, where you just know that like you can be excited without somebody coming and replying and trying to put a damper on your day. And it just kind of it's interesting also just seeing sort of like I think a change about in the time period of like this uptick of our subreddit. I think there's been at least looking at the Daisy article, and that post on other Star Wars subreddits and a general sort of more positive response. I think, I mean, there could be no correlation, but I feel like the sort of general stance of we believe in positivity and being cordial and respectful and just having that as a standard. Um, and this movement kind of like not going away because we've been challenged, like we've talked about before, about being like astroturfing and people not buying that this is just fans being genuine. And I think creating a subreddit and seeing the amount of traction it's gotten makes it clear that there are fans on Reddit who want to be able to engage in a community like this, but haven't felt like they could, perhaps in other subreddits, but now they have a place to do that. And I think that also potentially in a way has allowed for a more generally positive way of looking at the sequel trilogy, upcoming projects, and just the topic of the Hunt for Ben Solo in general. And yeah, I think it's really neat.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a fun place to share experiences of going to see the movie when it finally gets
Exactly.
made.
Yes.
And where you can catch it on IMAX.
Yes.
Folks may have noticed a change to our website. You can now find it very easily at savebensolo.com. Hannah, what kinds of things can people find there now?
Yeah. So in like recent couple weeks, we've been working really hard on this switch over for the website where now it's just an easy savebensolo.com. And we've also been updating on all of our recent and upcoming initiatives for the campaign. So currently we have the Christmas cards to Disney campaign, which is somewhat similar to our letter writing campaign, where and I actually have some here where that I plan to get done either later today or tomorrow to send off. But you print off, we have a whole bunch of options there on the website, but you can print off a Christmas card and address it to any person from Disney, Bob Iger, Alan Bergman. Mine's going to be going to Josh. And we also have the addresses and whatnot for that as well available on the website for ease.
For folks who don't know, why Josh?
Oh, yeah. So it's still not confirmed, but it seems like the most likely successor to Bob Iger as the CEO of Disney is Josh DeMaro. I can't remember his last name, so I'm just gonna call him Josh. And he does seem like the most likely successor. We also recently had confirmation that Alan Bergman is not in the running anymore.
I wish I were sadder, but I'm not.
Yeah. And so I'll be writing a couple very well-wishing and hopeful Christmas cards to him. And also on the website, you can find info on our upcoming watch party on Jen's channel. We did Logan Lucky not that long ago, and we're going to do Black Klansman on the 19th of December. So that's going to be really, really fun. So you can find more info on that as well on the website. You can also find information on our upcoming meetup on December 14th at Anaheim in Orlando, downtown Disney in Disney Springs. You can RSVP by joining our Discord, and that should be really, really fun. There's already for gating people, so if you RSVP, you'll be able to meet a whole bunch of fans in your area, which I think is going to be really awesome. And of course,
you can also. I lived in California or Florida, I would be there.
Right? Us Canadians are stuck in Hoth right now.
Yeah, Hoth City for sure.
And of course, you can find the change.org petition. You can also find our missing posters.
I would like to point out that yes, perfect. I would like to point out that the change.org petition has almost 7,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you have not yet put your signature on the change.org petition, I would encourage you to do so.
Yeah, it's doing really well. And I think what I personally love so much about the website setup is that it's so easy to navigate as well. You just click on the picture of the upcoming or the active campaigns that you want to take a look at, and it'll bring you right to the page with all of the information. And so for someone who her work, I mean, it's convenient for anyone, but for me, someone who runs one of the social media platforms, I'm visiting the website quite often, and so not to toot our own horn or whatever, but I do find it, like, I do enjoy how accessible it is.
So in addition to finding missing posters, which we encourage you to put up at your local comic book store, used bookstore, new bookstore, if they'll let you, library, wherever you think you might get away with putting one up. You can also see a map of where to find Ben Solo things. So if you happen to put up one of those missing posters, I would like to encourage you to take a photograph, and you can submit it. We have a Google form now on the website. You can submit your photo with the location where you found it, and you can help us fill up a map of the world showing where the demand for Ben Solo is. And hopefully one of us will eventually find it.
Hopefully sooner
rather
than later. Maybe when I've just bought popcorn and I'm settling into a seat at my local IMAX. I don't know. Maybe.
I love that you're thinking IMAX. That would be great.
I'm very dead set on watching this in IMAX. Yeah, has to be IMAX.
So now let us introduce you to SaveBenSolo.com. I may do further videos on some of the statistics from here and all of our other social media, but for now I thought I'd share what kind of traffic we're seeing because it's coming in from all around the world. And again, in only about the first month of existence, we have seen really solid traction on our page. I should note that we have only added the formal URL, SaveBenSolo.com, on or around December 1st. So for the first 2 weeks of data that are being included in the video here, we were operating actually with just a really semi-formal Google Sites URL. So you really would have had to look at our social media profiles to find it. So I'm actually really, really excited now that we have an easy to remember and easy to share URL. And if you're interested in any of the social media or the website, of course, all the links are in the description box below. So if we start with some of the kind of basic data, in our first few weeks of existence, we had 412 total hits on the website. 354 of them, or 86%, were direct link uses, which means like when someone goes on your Twitter profile and finds the link and follows it over to your page, which to me is amazing. 412 people, now some of them may have been repeats, but still 412 times somebody decided they were going to follow a link, from, again, probably on social media to the web page, which is pretty awesome. But that means 14% or 58 of those searches were coming from more organic kinds of routes, which to me is really exciting because we are volunteer run organization, so we don't have a budget. We are not paying to advertise anywhere. And so when we want to do something like, put up a digital billboard in Times Square, as we have done, one of us pays for it, or we, find a way to cost share it amongst ourselves. So 14% of hits coming from actual like places where it has begun to seep out into the algorithms is really, really exciting. Hannah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on
Yeah, because I know that one thing that we've made sure we've done is include the QR code for the website, as when we had that Google Sites URL, it was a little bit easier to promote a QR code, so people just take a shot of that, then they get directed to the website. And so I think that's helped because it's on all of the missing posters. So if people cross it in the street, they see it, they use the QR code. Like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Instagram, we see that link tap, that external link tapping, where at least 44 of that was people from Instagram using the link to visit the website. And I think it's telling that we've been able to distribute this enough where it's, even despite the original URL, we've been able to distribute it in a way that's accessible enough for people and has gained enough interest for people to go so far as to visit the website. And I think that's been really, really cool to see.
I think so too. And people from all over the world, visiting the
Yeah.
website too. So we have users from 18 or more countries. And I have to say or more because some people had IPs masked, so I don't know where they were. Most of the traffic was from the United States, which I kind of expected. You'll also see in our data, which is going to be on the screen, there are high volumes of traffic from Singapore, Canada, Germany, and some hits from Sweden. And we're pretty sure actually those are members of the Save Ben Solo community already. Already their friends and family who are getting excited about the activity as well. So the surprise hits to me are the smaller numbers, but rarer, in because we don't know where they're coming from Australia, from the UK, from France, and parts of both Asia and Latin America. Who are you? Please connect with us. Consider joining our Discord community. Links are on the website in the social section, and we would love to have you. We are primarily an English language, platform, but Google Translate's not bad. We can figure out how to communicate.
And you recently did an interview with a fan from Chile.
That's right. Yeah. So people are finding us. She found us through Instagram. But we know people are out there, so please consider joining us on Discord. We would love to have you, and I'm sure Google Translate can make it work. So I'll post another update on those stats in the new year, and we'll get a sense for where the impact of our latest activities, like getting the formal URL, savebensolo.com, see what impact that's having. And we'll see what impact is coming from the missing posters. Remember to send us your photo. The Toys for Tots campaign, which just wrapped up, but was an initiative by fans to do some good works in the world, in the name of Ben Solo. And of course, our Disney Christmas card initiative. And I do want to add, you could always send a Disney Christmas card, a Ben Solo Christmas card to friends and family. I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Get them excited too. So please put up a missing poster anytime. Use the Christmas cards, and please use hashtags. I'll put them on the screen, and of course they'll be in the description box below when you are posting anything on social media, so that, again, as Disney is maybe finally starting to pay a little bit of attention to what fans are demanding, especially since now one of the stars of one of their upcoming movies that is still in development has said that she is very much excited for something to do with Ben Solo. If nothing else, she's excited about fan positivity. But I don't know. I get the sense from that interview that she would love to do more than just be excited with the fans.
I get that sense too. There's like she seemed very excited. Yeah. And I think she was like hinting that, like, I mean, she was talking about the Ray movie, but I think she was also it seemed like the movement by fans for the Hunt for Ben Solo also seemed to have like an exciting effect on her in terms of like what comes next, just like more Star Wars in general. So I think she's itching to get back in the game.
I think so. We're itching to see her back in the game. So it would be
Exactly.
wonderful all around. So please follow us on your favorite social media outlet. Check out the website, and we'll see you out there in cyberspace.
Oh, that
Yes.
was
And
unintentional. I didn't mean
what
to
was
say that.
unintentional? Oh,
The everybody wants this.